Hey, Dark Humility here with a new PD2 Season 2 guide on Hardcore. Today we'll be doing Chain Lightning Sorceress. Remember, you can catch me on www.twitch.tv/darkhumility 7 days a week most of the time. So today we'll be going over this character right here. Now, you might recall in my tiers video when I looked into this character on Season 2 beta testing and whatnot, I said that Lightning Sorceress is probably the most hurt tree in the game. I still stand by that statement for the most part. Nova is just an inferior Frost Nova. Charge Bolt, it's very strong against single targets, but it's a mediocre mapping tool, so it's still like a B tier build overall. Thunderstorm seems like a niche PvP thing. It's not really worth getting super powerful. And, you know, Lightning is still pretty... If you just use Lightning or you just focus Charge Bolt, these builds are pretty weak. That being said, though, if you make a good use of Static Field and you have really high-tier gear, Chain Lightning is actually pretty darn strong. Overall, I rated it like C, maybe B tier if I was being generous. But I didn't test it with like the highest tier gear, so I actually have gear that's pretty high tier. I wouldn't say it's the very highest, but it's definitely up there. Once you get some really powerful stuff, this character really starts to pop. It's a very strong build, so while I'm not going to completely retract what I said, you know, about the Lightning Tree in general, I will admit that, you know, I am human and I didn't do enough testing maybe on super late game Chain Lightning, and Chain Lightning is actually very powerful. So if you want a really cool element to do, if maybe you want to get away from those expensive cold skillers and maybe want to try a very powerful build in a different tree, I could definitely give this a try. It clears very quickly. It has the advantage of very powerful telekinesis and energy shield, which can make you very tanky and hardcore. Overall, it destroys enemies, has almost zero immunity problems if you use Static Field on top of Infinity, and a lot of lightning facets. It's overall just very, very powerful build. So Chain Lightning is actually really cool. That being said, what we're going to do is we're going to go over the LOD areas she's strong at first, like I always do, and then I'm going to demo some maps and kind of go over the kinds of maps that she's strong at in general, and just show you guys some awesome gameplay. And then, of course, I'm going to go over the stats, skills, gear, and options. Alright, guys. Let's begin. Get it! Alright, first area. Honestly, the only area I'd really farm in Hell in late game, or when you're just getting started, even without the best gear in the world, this character should do this area pretty well, except for the archers. But you can see, though, when I have my really good gear, it just gets destroyed. Archers are light immune, but doesn't matter. I have too many facets. If I actually use Static Field as well, they die as fast as everything else. So I'm dropping their res to 0. I have negative 43 in terms of facets on my gear in Griffins. I also have an additional negative 34 with Infinity. Static Field can do negative 32 for a grand total of upwards of negative 99 light res. Which makes it to where lightning immunities don't affect this character very much. But you need all that gear. You need all that gear, as I was talking about. In order for her really to be an A-tier build, she needs powerful gear. Otherwise, she's still pretty mediocre to most other choices out there, like Frozen Orb Sorc, especially when you're just starting out. Or a Meteor Sorc for boss killing when you're just starting out, or Hydra, or any number of things, really. I never recommend starting out with lightning anything in Diablo 2. That goes for PD2 as well. You get so much benefit off of Infinity, but before Infinity, it's a bit of a struggle. There's lightning immunes in almost every major area, including Stony Tomb, Pit, Ancient Tunnels, Chaos, every major 85 area has lightning immunes, but once you get Infinity, you can break virtually all of them, which makes it a very awesome kind of build to play later in the game. Of course, she's just very strong just overall. Like, there's really not much to say, of course, about her overall strength before that. But yeah, like, before she gets to this point, it's kind of mediocre for sure, but you know, that's why you wait a bit to play the build, and you can get going on it. One type of farm I recommend though, even on maybe not the best lightning sorceress, is Arcane Sanctuary though. Most builds are pretty good in the pit. I mean, you've seen me do most of the other build guides in the pit. Pit's pretty easy in general. You can clear the pit pretty well. It's a good starting area, good starting level 85 area to farm. Lost City has so Ancient Tunnels has some pretty annoying lightning immunes though. That being said though, this character can do them pretty easily once you have the gear, which I'll show you guys in a moment. Maggot Lair has the same problem. I wouldn't recommend doing Maggot Lair though. It has too much lightning resistance to the point to where it might actually slow you down. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to demo Arcane, which is my personal favorite for a lightning sorceress period. It's just amazing. It's way better in vanilla, by the way. If you type !ArcaneData in my Twitch chat, actually, you can pull up 5,000 run data on this area. And that's for players 7 drops, so PD2 is players 5 drops, even in players 1. So it won't be quite as effective as that, but ghosts are amazing. So are the clickables, super chests at the end. You get 8 super chests, you get ghosts. Overall, it's pretty amazing stuff. If you target the ghosts, you can have a pretty damn good time. Good stuff overall. What are you talking about? I don't know. What are you talking about, Rolling Hammer? What's up, Blazing Eye Cannon? I can glug water, it's okay. So yeah, this is the Arcane Power Farm. Ghosts have amazing loot tables, so do clickables. They tend to favor runes, charms, gems, jewels, jewelry, jewels, and gems, and otherwise. Ghosts actually can't drop armors or weapons at all, so they can't even drop items like chest armors or armors or helmets or shields, which restricts their loot table to things like what I just mentioned. And on PD2 they can even drop Worldstone shards and maps and puzzle boxes. So their loot table being restricted is very nice for certain kinds of items. I've had a ton of success here in the past. Matter of fact, I might do an Arcane Power Farm stream. Haven't done one yet this season, but given that we have a lightning sorceress, I don't see why not. Probably gonna want to do that. If there's one LOD area that she really shines in, it's here, because there's no lightning immunes in here. Lightning is just very smooth in here. Puts down the enemies in the line. My lightning damage isn't as impressive as it can get in vanilla, but it is players 1 and players 5 drops, so that kind of makes up for it a little bit. But you can see that they're dropping charms, they're dropping a lot of other stuff. And they drop a ton of potions, so you never have to worry about potions. Sweet. This is kind of how I do the Arcane Power Farm now. Kill the ghosts over the platform. Remember, if you kill the ghosts in the blackout there, in the space, they will not drop items. So sometimes you have to like reposition yourself to get a perfect angle on them. But overall, lining up those ghosts for a nice satisfying lightning kill is really nice stuff. And as you can see, they drop tons of charms. You want runes, high runes, charms, and other things. You don't even really need infinity either. They don't have a lot of lightning rods, which is nice. The infinity helps a little bit though. You could also use static field when you're just starting out. Still a very highly effective farm for PD2 though. No, she didn't actually, Rolling over ham. Arcane Power Farm, maybe. Promoting a build that requires millionaire items to work. I mean, the Zealer build was pretty expensive too. I mean, Uber Zealer and Hardcore, that's not a cheap build. Requires at least the fundamentals, right? D-Gods, DR of some kind. Some source of amplified damage is preferred. Attack speed, really strong weapon. I mean, that stuff's not cheap. That being said, though, this build is definitely... I mean, Arcane and Pit are doable without, like, really high-end gear, but, like, definitely way easier with high-end gear. There's the Ghost dropping some more runes. So, yeah, it's like... pretty good stuff overall. Alright, so we got Topaz, Skull... No, not usually. She made ribs that one time, though. For, whatchamacallit. What day was it? I'm trying to remember why that happened, actually. I don't even remember. You making me hungry. Alright, there you go. So if you kill the ghosts and pop the super chests in Arcane, the other monsters have, you know, normal loot tables, but if you kill them with the ghosts instead of prioritizing the other monsters, you kill them along with the ghosts and they become collateral damage, you get a ton of benefit out of Arcane. Arcane's amazing. The ghosts have excellent loot tables. You see this in maps as well, and the super chests are amazing. This build is insanely good at, so highly recommend checking out that Arcane whenever, of course, you make a light Sorc. If you have a really powerful light Sorc, a lot of negative light res and infinity and all that stuff, you can also do Lost Ancient Tunnels. Remember, Ancient Tunnels is always by this, like, L-shaped or gun-shaped house. If you're, you know, if you're a darn Yankee, darn American, you know, it looks like a gun, okay? But if you're from any other country, it doesn't make any sense, because, you know, Americans are obsessed with guns. Kappa. Alright, here we go. Alright. It's a gun-shaped house. Get him! 8 Conan, that's right. But as you can see, though, so these are the horror mages, but notice, I have so many facets that they're still dying in, like, one shot almost. The one bad thing about lightning is that you can roll 100 damage, though, so that kind of sucks. The damage was really high overall, so it's overall good stuff. I mean, yeah, oops. Hell yeah, brother! Yeah, dude. Anyway, it's a house that looks like a gun. It's an L shape. Right, here you go. You can make fun of us Americans all you want. It's okay. You know, you can do it all you want. It's okay. Alright. So as you can see with all this gear, the only light immunity, which are the horror mages in here, still gets destroyed. Of course, we'll show off the gear at the end, but facets are insane. So you could do Ancient Tunnels too very effectively. It's a fun way to do it. Only thing about Ancient Tunnels and random maps, though, is that are hard to find, which is why I don't do it very often online. It's nice for single player, though. Alright. Yeah, earlier today we bagged some Ohm runes and some maps, doing some tier 3 map testing. Telekinesis the Warp. Alright. So, next up, honestly, she could do some kinds of key farming, right? So she could do Summoner. She could also do Countess. So I did the Summoner there, and you could do that while you're farming Arcane, which is amazing on a light sword, just to get that all done at once. But what you can also do, you accomplish just so many things in Arcane. You get the keys out of the way as well. You can get unique jewelry. It's crazy. But You can also go farming for Countess. Now, I still think the Zealer build, any kind of charge paladin, or any just fast boy like a Frenzy Barbarian is going to be faster at farming keys than any kind of sorceress, but if you can get that 117 FCR breakpoint at the very least, yeah, it's not a bad idea. You could... Lightning is really good for farming keys in general because none of the bosses are completely surrounded by lightning immunes you can't break. And there are lightning immune archers down here, but in general it's pretty good though. So if you want to make some money by farming keys though, and you just have a lightning sorcerer, it's not a bad idea. Cool. Or you can farm him for your Zealer. Wow, look at that. 2 Rowls and an Am. No key this time though. Oh wait. It's busted. Okay. Well done. Alright. Rowl rune. Am rune, sweet. You make a gun-shaped omelet every morning for breakfast. Nice having me. Everything's gun-shaped. People are obsessed with it in PD2. Stony Tombs. Stony Tombs are heavily lightning immune. So there's a bunch of areas in PD2 that have heavy lightning immunity. One of them is Stony Tomb in the Rocky Waste. And of course there's also Maggot Lair. They're so lightning immune that it might actually slow you down a little bit. I don't really recommend them on a lightning type sorceress, so I'm going to kind of leave them alone. Ancient Tunnels is fine. Obviously, the Pit also has 1 lightning immune. It's fine. It's solid, as you saw there. Arcane is fine. Let's move on to Lower Cross, though. Travancore is awful for lightning characters, so I wouldn't do that either. However, any sorceress that hits somewhere between 117 or 194 FCR should definitely consider the Clickable power farm. You guys have seen this before on my other characters. I've demoed it with charge and whatnot, but it's really good on the sorceress because of telekinesis. And this is definitely the best character for this kind of farm. You just pop all the clickables, and believe it or not, I get high runes. You can check out the Burr rune in the puzzle box I found from clickables on my YouTube early on in the season. You can check them out here, of course, on my channel. Good stuff. Clickables are amazing. Sewer runes are more common than Burr, though. Of course, you can also get lots of other kinds of runes. The max rune in here is Burr from any of those clickables. Because we're playing online, or at least I'm playing online, I don't know the locations of the super chests ever, which are always around these tiki torches here. You get this ring of tiki torches. There's 2 super chests in this house over here, and there's 1 in this house up here. There could be up to 2 of these rings of torches, so up to 6 super chests total. But even these random clickables are amazing. That's how I tend to get most of my really good runes. So I'm gonna do the full farm here because this character's effective at it. Just to show you kind of how it works. It's very good to do if you just get your FCR up at the beginning of the ladder. Really good to do. As long as it doesn't bore you to tears and your right-click finger doesn't get tired out from all the telekinesis spam. Really good stuff. Click stuff to success, that's right. You know, I have found countless high runes with this method. I've found a lot of nice uniques too. One thing to note is that Magic Find doesn't affect runes at all, but it can affect the random bases that are dropped out of these clickables. Believe it or not, random clickables could drop Storm Shield, they could drop Shaco, they could drop Herald of Zakarum, Hawes, I've seen them all. Mars, anything. Only the super chests aren't affected by MF at all, so your MF will actually apply to the rest of these, but when it comes to actually like, increasing the likelihood of blue, rare, set, or unique items from the clickables, but it won't affect the super chests. Alright, good stuff. course, I have 304 MF, which is pretty nice for vanilla content, too. One advantage of playing on a sorceress in general is that it can be easier to stack MF because of things like Talrosh's set and, in general, just having a bit more build freedom. Like Talrosh's set, Oculus, you know, you get the idea. A lot of cool items for sure. Hey, what's up? Save for Waters. How you doing? Got the goal from a clickable? Yep, man, that's how it works. You could also do an endurance, but it's way more dangerous when it comes to clickable farming, so I'm not going to go over that. City of the Damned is some pretty heavy lightning immunes, so you could farm that on some other characters, but not this one. We're going to do something else she's really strong at, though. Once you get really good gear, this farm is a breeze. Now, you can see there I actually popped a static field, because those monsters are lightning immune normally, so I could reduce the resistances almost to 0 with static field the rest of my gear. As I just did right there, so they just all die instantly, even though they're lightning immune. So yeah, once you get this level of gear, you really don't have to worry about many immunities at all. Like it's almost irrelevant. Unlike a fire Sorc or a cold Sorc, where they don't have a static field, so they don't have 2 ways to break light immune. What I should probably explain is that in Project Diablo 2, there are technically 3 ways to break elemental immunity. So in LOD, there's 2. The ways that it has in common with LOD are Conviction and Lower Resistance. So, Conviction is this aura here that is coming from my Mercenary's Infinity Runeward. It's pretty insane. And it breaks most lightning immunities by itself. In PD2 it breaks at half. In Vanilla it only breaks at 1/6. So, breaks at roughly 17%. Which is pretty normal. Actually, is it 1/6 or 1/5? I think it's 1/5 actually. Well, anyway. Yeah, it's 1/5, sorry. It breaks at 1/5 in vanilla. It breaks at half in PD2. So even though the conviction's weaker in PD2, it's breaking at half effectiveness. So it breaks pretty well. You notice all these lightning immunes just getting totally slaughtered. Well, that's because they don't have much immunity to them. Matter of fact, I don't even have to use static field against them because they have such low HP, so once I get them down to like 30 light res, they're toast. Okay, farm sucks, tank cookie burger. Mara's from a log? I found Mara's from a stash. Yeah, one thing to explain though is that there's 3 forms of ways to break immunities. In general, lightning immunities tend to be weakest in Diablo 2. Even in Project Diablo 2, doesn't matter. Fire immunities are the next easiest to break typically. Actually, no, I'd say physical immunes are the next easiest to break, but that's using Amp and Battlecry though. So let's not confuse too much. Those are physical immunity breaking techniques. But fire would be the next hardest. I mean, the next easiest. Cold would be the next easiest, and then poison is the hardest. Poison immunity is almost impossible to break. So as you can see there, if you switch to Charged Bolt, which I almost have the synergies maxed, which you can get eventually if you keep leveling up the character, you destroy single targets with Charged Bolt, which is really nice.
I am overburdened.
Just shreds bosses. They just get absolutely shredded by Charged Bolt. You might not want to do that against certain map bosses, though, because getting too close can be fatal, especially in Hardcore. But against Diablo, it's fine. I have max block, so I block his hose every 3 out of every 4 frames. Yeah, believe it or not, you can block his hose. Fun stuff. You can. The more block you have, the more you resist Diablo's hose because of that. Also, I have energy shield, so he's not going to be messing with me too much there. We'll explain some of the build mechanics, though, when we go over skills and whatnot, and gear, so I'm going to save that for a bit later, but, yeah. Anyway, keep getting off topic here. So that was a nice chaos map there. But what I also want to mention in PD2 is a third way to break immunity, which is only for lightning, which is static field. Static field breaks immunities as well, which is pretty cool. It doesn't only reduce the resistances, it can also break the immunities. So if you have conviction and static field, you can break insanely tough lightning immunities with static field. You can break a lot of lightning enchanteds on enemies that already have a decent amount of lightning res, which is pretty crazy. Conviction plus static field is just crazy. You'll notice this when I start doing some maps that I'm going to be using static field here and there, and it's going to be super effective against certain things. But I'm not going to do some of the worst maps where like you need static field necessarily to break, at least in terms of the demo, to break the lightning res. But take it from me that even the worst maps like Throne of Insanity that have unbreakable light immunes from conviction can be broken from conviction and static field at the same time. So it's pretty insane stuff. Yeah, which is pretty cool. Which is one of the cool things about Light Sorc in general. Eldritch and Shenk are always going to be good, of course. Very cool stuff. As you can see, absolutely destroys. Cold Sorceress is bad for this because of all the cold immunity in here, but if you have a fire or a lightning Sorceress, super fast Shenk and Eldritch kills, no problem. Also, you can just shred Pindle skin if you want. Stack more meth for him as well. Another very effective farm for this character. You found F1s! Oh wow, that sounds crazy. Another kind of farm, I don't know if I recommend Drifter Cavern. I mean, it's probably decent on this character, but there's Charger Zombies, or there's Defiled Warriors, or Undead Warriors, or Reanimated Hoards, whatever you want to call them in there. And it can be very dangerous to teleport through there, so don't highly recommend it on hardcore, but overall you could also do Drifter Cavern. It's not a terrible idea. This is a non-teleport key farm, so you're not going to be doing that one very much. I also didn't go over the last key farm, which you would do on this character. I might want to do that real quick here. I don't recommend doing it with a lightning Sorc though, because there's a lot of lightning immunes in both of these areas that I'm about to go through. In general, it's something you can do. It's something you can do. So once you find the Plains of Despair, which is randomly located, as you can see here, yeah, this is some dangerous stuff though. When you get souls, it's pretty nasty. I wouldn't even recommend teleporting through here unless you have T-Gods. I don't have T-Gods on right now, so this is actually a bad idea. But luckily it's players 1, so it might not be too bad. I also do have 80 light res with my gear currently, so it's not the end of the world. But it's pretty bad. We got declone boots? Wow, Godsend, damn man. You're killing it with those declone items, that's sick. You should make a character that uses all 5 of them, that should be your goal. Godsend. Make sure to post that in my Discord, I'd love to see insane finds. And declone items are definitely an insane type of find. Imagine dying on the guide video. Yep, guide video, yep. That would be pretty suck. Dark Humility doesn't know what he's talking about. Possible. Have we ever considered it? Ah! As you can see, this is not safe without T-Gods. Or some source of flat absorb. Definitely recommend T-Gods though. It's but yeah, I mean it's fun stuff. Anyway, if you get T-Gods, you get a fire character. Because I have so many life facets, you can actually make this work. You would have to get your FCR elsewhere, though. Nice, he dropped a key, so as you can see, he's the other teleport key boss. Thought I'd also go over that as well. Good stuff just in general you can do. Summoner could be in any of those directions. The Plains of Despair can also be in any direction.
What do you need?
So can Izual himself in the Plains of Despair. Also the tower, as long as it's on the outside or next to some kind of wall in Black Marsh. It can also be anywhere in the Black Marsh. And it's always a west-facing block or to the left versus the entrance block for tower. But overall, it can be pretty hard to navigate those maps as well. That's one of the reasons why I prefer like charger key farming, but you can still do it. It's just something you can do on an awesome sorceress like this one. No problems whatsoever, right? Once again, lightning sorceresses tend to be pretty solid in Worldstone as well. Once again, though, if you're going to expect souls, which can also spawn in here, you're going to want, once again, T-Gods or something similar. Otherwise, you risk dying, for sure. Also, make sure your light res is at least max, if not over-maxed. I kind of got an interesting corruption here, which is giving me max light corruption on my griffins. So, actually, I'm not super afraid of those kinds of things, but it's okay. I never rip! Well, Crash Books even sometimes. Maybe we'll die to something, something else this season, you never know. Am I supposed to play badly to die, monkey? Am I supposed to play badly to die? But yeah, you saw her Chaos performance. She's insanely good in Chaos once you get Infinity and all the negative light res from Griffins and the facets and whatnot. But very good farm is another max level area in LOD, which is an 85 area. Got Worldstone Keep, just like Chaos, just like Ancient Tunnels and Pit. This area's popping off for sure. And lots of density in here usually, especially like flares. A lot of people underestimate farming Worldstone, but I'd also argue that it's better, of course, when you have faster teleport like an LOD, but it's not good though. Whoa! Oh my goodness, no freaking way. That is an insanely rare find right there. Wow, it's 2 skills too. Wow, that is insane. That is insane, and it repairs durability, and it has 10. Dude, guys, that is Slamfest, 100%. Like, this first Slamfest, we were going to slam that, and that's amazing. That is amazing. Yeah, we've been storing for Slamfest, Dirty Wolf. We have some really insane... We have so many insane items ready to go in Slamfest, and this one should be one of them. Holy crap, that is insane. So if you guys don't know what is so ridiculous about this, it's got skills, it has FHR, it's got PDR, it's got almost 3,000 defense, and it's self-repair, so you don't even need a Zod rune in it. What a crazy item that is. That is an insane item. So yeah, Worldstone Keep, guys. Good farming area, right? Poggers. On video, we got an awesome find. I'll make sure to timestamp that. Whenever we get an awesome find, I'll timestamp those. It seems like every time I've done a video, I've found at least one, not 2 really solid items, so we'll see. That is an insanely cool item. Can't get 4 sockets on it. The best slam you could probably get on that is +1. You get +3 on it. Or you could get 3 sockets, but you could also get like PDR. It already has a lot of flat DR. That'd be kind of neat. What a cool item it is, though. That is a hog item right there. That's sick. Alright, so this is what I was talking about here. We got some more souls. That's the only problem. Mine the souls in areas like these, like Worldstone and Plains of Despair. PDR isn't percent, no. It's physical damage reduction flat, so it's flat PDR on this thing. This thing has 22 flat PDR. Apparently it can vary too. Its skills can also vary. That is a sick item though. You want this item to be F because it has self-repair. You also want it to roll max skills, and it did all of that. That's crazy. Also rolled almost 3,000 defense. The ED actually isn't insane on it, so it could actually be about 20% higher, but it's not bad. That means you actually could get 3,000 defense on that. Wow. You know, if that slams and survives in Slamfest, I'm going to want to I'm gonna want to try to find a use for that. Charcy it? I don't know about Charcy it. I think that could actually be good. What do you guys think? Do you guys think that item has uses? What would you use that on, potentially? Curious. So, if I just use static field, you can see that one static field plus chain lightning, they have no lightning res at all. They just drop like flies. Lightning Sorc is one of the best builds, period, for running Baal because they get destroyed. Just make sure, like I said, that you're running T-Gods or something similar. You might want to change the build if you want to actually do Baal, but Lightning Sorc's amazing. And on PD2, that's no exception. Rabies Druid scales insanely well with plus skills. Yeah, but what about Bramble, bro? Bramble's too good, I think, isn't it? Bramble. I don't know. Use it on your Necro? Dude, that would be pretty sick, actually. I don't know. It's still a weird item, but it seems like... Alright, so Charge Bolt is just insanely good. It's got a name lock Baal, pretend you're in PvP. Charge Bolt's insane. Insane. You know, just destroys bosses. I don't have this. I don't have its second synergy max, but it's still insane. Believe it or not, you could max this at level 98 or 97, depending on how many points you put into static field, or 99. Somewhere between 97 and 99, I would say you can max it. So it's kind of cool. Keeps you leveling up this kind of character, I guess, if you really want to. Nice motivation. Wow, that is a find right there. That is a find. I can let's see, +2 Eth Steel Carapace. Put that on my drops today. Wow. Crazy. Alright. I actually haven't seen an Eth Steel Carapace in PD2 yet, so that's cool because that's kind of what you want for that item. It's kind of cool to see. Cool. Alright. Now, those, chat, are all the LOD areas. That's pretty much all I really feel like I should go over on this character. As a sorceress for the key farming, as a lightning sorceress for those areas, especially a very strong lightning sorceress, once you get that endgame gear, so you can definitely have fun farming those endgame areas and getting that all the items in the game. Remember, 85 areas could drop any item in the game. And as for those clickable farms or arcane, you get high runes, charms galore. And you still get some other types of items as well, so very good stuff indeed, like for crafting. Endless crafting materials, shards, you name it. Good stuff. Alright, so let's start going into the map demo phase of the guide here. I would say your best tier 1 is Bastion Keep. There is one lightning immunity, but it can be broken by static field once again. Static field, this is actually probably where I'm going to get to demo it the best. But there's definitely a lot of other maps like the Flying Swords in Horizons, and also the the Hell Whips in Throne of Insanity that can also be broken, as well as Static Field. And also the Black Lancers and Ruins of Ijun. We're not going to do those areas because they're not her best, but as you can see, she breaks them with Static Field plus Infinity. It's pretty incredible stuff. But this map's nice for lightning characters. It only has the shamans that are immune to light. It's pretty non-invasive. So just like the Bone Necro, if we go on tier 1s, this is usually going to be a pretty good one. This isn't an insane map or anything. One thing to note about mapping on the Lightning Sorc is because it's Chain Lightning, kind of like with the Lightning Strike Zon, you can actually go MF over density if you want to go like fast, because Chain Lightning only hits a limited number of targets, right? So because it's only hitting a limited number of targets, it's arguable that density isn't necessarily the stat to go for. It's not horrible on this character, but you could go just for MF if you want, or some other stats like experience if you want, on a character with a ability with a limited number of targets. But, as you see though, she tears through this map. She's very strong. This map has open wounds, so hopefully Mercenary doesn't get wrecked. Oh baby. What's up, Quada? How you doing? I would say this is her best tier 1 in general. It's arguably also her best map, period, but it's hard to say. I mean, when I put the rankings in the description, I'm probably going to put it as number 1, but for my testing, it definitely seems like the map she most consistently does in a smooth manner. If we get some shamans in here, I can show you guys the breaking immunity thing, so... Let's see here. Which is really unique to the Lightning Sorceress. If you ever see Lightning enchant on a elite, by the way, you can always pop Static Field, and doubly ensure that if they have any Lightning immune, that it is totally erased by Static Field. You can also use this against elites with lightning immunity as well. And it works most of the time. Not all the time. Sometimes they have so much lightning immunity, you still can't break it. It works a good amount of the time. Oh no! I wasn't paying attention to his open wounds. Crap. Oh, this is why doing open wounds maps, chat, is dangerous. Or just, you know, a time waster. Yes. Can be. You gotta watch the potions. I wasn't paying attention to his HP. Alright, there, I just healed him again. Open wounds is just a nasty map stat in general. You know, I haven't seen any shamans, so maybe this map actually doesn't have them. Well, that's ideal, because their lightning immune can't be broken by infinity. It's only broken with Static Field or if I jump on them with the Mercenary. So that's kind of cool. Well, I just got hit by open wounds too. So yeah, as you can see, Ghost maps plus Area Battlefield are amazing. You get all the benefits of Arcane with Ghost maps too, so it's... Lightning loves Ghosts, like Lightning destroys Ghosts, so... Easily. Definitely want Ghost modifiers on your Lightning maps, 100%. Any kind of Lightning character at all. Really good stuff. Right, so yeah, I have to pop like Jews all the time to keep my Mercenary alive in these open wounds maps, or at least healing potions. It's a little frustrating, but yeah, it's okay. We're not like totally like, you know, unable to do it or anything. So. What's up? I'm gonna go to bed, man. Have a good sleep, dude. Always a pleasure to have you be hanging out up in here. You know, I think if I ever get open wounds, I'm gonna have to reroll it, because I think it even procs from the ranged enemies as well. Really nasty stuff. Not good for demo! Well, the rest of the stats are fine. No open wounds. Not with Phoenix Monarch, unless you're wearing Steel Shade. So big boss T-Ross, if you wear Steel Shade plus Phoenix Monarch, you can make that work. But Phoenix has such horrible block rate that unless you have some other source of percent increased chance to block, that's going to be a bad idea. Hope that answers your question. No problem. Yeah, you would have to dump like all your points into Dex without Steel Shade or something. And on that character, you're probably trying to go, Griffins so that you can maximize your damage. So I don't know how good of an idea it is in general. Stop dying! Oh man, open wounds is the worst, man. It's the worst. But yeah, this map gets destroyed. The only lightning immune are the shamans, and this one doesn't even have them, so nice map in general. Try to avoid getting stacked on by aura balls too much. I do have max block and I have energy shield, but the mercenary gets destroyed by them very easily. So if you see that, probably try to reposition around them. This map can be annoying, but so good though in terms of DPS. The density is solid in this map, so it's the real deal. I just got hit by open wounds again. Mercenary. Notice I just used static field there though. He was lightning immune, my infinity was breaking it, I wasn't doing a ton of damage to him. I procced static field on him and I destroyed him, even though he started out immune to lightning. Not fear the immune to lightning on a fully built lightning sorceress. Do not fear it one bit. Good stuff, easy stuff. Just have at least 1 point in the static field in your back pocket and you're good to go. So again, after we're done with some map demos here, we'll go over the skills and whatnot at the end so you can check that stuff out. Oh! It's such a good map for, I feel like I should just demo kind of it. Very nice overall. Even though it has open wounds, I kind of want out. Let me out! Yeah, if you see lightning enchanted, the monsters get a lot of lightning res off that. That's a good stat to hit with that there. Monsters also get extra lightning res from spectral hit, but lightning cannon gives them 75 lightning res, so it's a lot. At least it should still, if it's still the same from LOD. Same with fire enchanted and cold enchanted, of course, but we don't care about this almost. We're a lightning sorceress! Wow! Let's see if we find another homer into this map. 3 homes in one day, chat? Is it possible? Are we in the promised land yet? Are we there yet? Oh, yeah, well, you gotta use Griffins then. You could use Guardian Angel if you really want to. That's one way you could do it, I guess. But I personally would rather have plus skills and whatnot on my armor. The Phoenix max block situation, Mr. Big Boss T-Ross. Yeah. Alright, here we go. Full rune. Remember that 1 second after you teleport, you have that teleport debuff, so try not to use teleport too much when you're attacking. Try to walk if you can, but especially in a map when you don't really have to. But teleport just to get around, basically. That's the best way to use it. Otherwise, our damage goes from 14.3k to like 7k, which is not great. Max block is your best friend. Okay. Especially on PD2 when battle orders and whatnot from CTA isn't percent health based, like it's even more of a good idea to get max block. Wow. I mean a free Wolverine Wisp? Wow, that's a GG fun. It's your RNG, man. It's your RNG, Abby, maybe. How you doing, chat? Guys surviving back there? Just vibing out there? Ooh. Oh my goodness. Okay, so there you go. Open wounds with ball ladies. Bad idea. Yeah, we'll keep that in mind. I mean, I always need a reminder sometimes. It's a terrible, terrible thing, but getting some good reminders right here. Ugh.
Stay a while and listen.
Okay, there's a lot of items here. Cool. Yeah, mercenary just getting smashed. It's like almost 20% chance to proc it too. Oof. I noticed we haven't been finding a lot of crazy good uniques in here, even though we have 435 of them. Well,
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken.
Alright, so Jonathan is here. It's kind of nasty. He might destroy the mercenary again. He almost always does. I don't recommend getting too close to him. You can see how much damage he does there. Since I'm max block, I don't have a lot of health. So I try to range these dudes as much as I can.
Hello.
Oh man. Looks like they're about to shut down the realm. Oh baby, they're playing a patch in the middle of the video. Uh-oh. That's not good. Maybe we should just do some short demos then. For the rest of it. Well, anyway. I'm gonna kill his ass at least. Wow, Demon Horn's Edge. Sweet. Alright. Well, I've had enough of this map with open wounds anyway. Rip video? Nah, we're good. You just have to do some map demos just to show how powerful she is in some of these other maps. We won't be doing the entire maps, that's all. It's not a big deal. Alright, well. that was annoying anyway, so it's okay.
Good afternoon.
Maps with open wounds, not good. That's a pretty rare item though off the boss. That was kind of nice. RIP video. Yeah, at least it's 30 minutes. 30 minutes is nice. Yeah, exactly. Alright, so briefly we can go over some of her other strong maps. One of the other ones is Phlegethon. I would say Phlegethon is maybe your first or second strongest tier 2. Once again, it's pretty close though. Let's do cows. No! I do the cow level, but... The Phlegethon has lightning immunes, which are these council members, but I can actually break them by using static field. Guess I just use static field. There you go. So now we get a demo of this. So notice how Infinity's not breaking them. Infinity's not breaking them at all. Bam. Now for this boss, you gotta range them from afar. Try to get the Mercenary in a position where you can hit him with lightning, kind of like Jonathan. But overall, I mean, you can kind of see she destroys this map. This map's pretty easy. Not a lot of lightning immunities in general. Since I have max block, it's not that big of a deal. I might even consider not even using energy shield most of the time in this map, and just only using it when you see some dangerous auras, because council members are annoying with their hydras, and they take off your energy shield very easily. Oh yeah, this is definitely an insanely good map for any lightning character, including Charge Strike. I mean, sorry, not Charge Strike, Lightning Strike. Harder zombies don't matter because you have range. And with Static Field and Infinity, we can break the council members' resistances with immunity. And since these Fallens don't self-revive anymore, thank goodness for Season 2. Really easy stuff in general. Yeah, that was a nice short demo there of Phlegethon. Like, she's really good in that map. Highly recommend that map for sure for this character. Another amazing map there. Hey, this just incentivizes us to go faster. Let's not, like, spend too much time messing around. Alright, the next one is Blood Moon. Now, Blood Moon's pretty amazing as a map in general. It's good for almost any character, really. Has a little bit of max life, but that's not a big deal. She's really good at it, though. We do so much raw damage, and we reduce the res to 0, even without using static field. And they're just getting shredded. Another area battlefield map, okay. That's not a bad map for her, by the way. Not a bad map at all. Yeah, you can see the cow is pretty insane. Cow's gonna move! This is also a ghost cow map, so it's a pretty amazing map. Maybe we can see how much of this map we can actually get through, I don't know. Now, obviously there's even better builds, of course, of doing this, like Trapsin, for instance, but this is a solid build for this. She really, with the chain lightning piercing and whatnot, it really hits all the cows. It's pretty amazing stuff, really.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken.
Man, thank you for the follow. Let's go. So yeah,
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken.
Oh baby, follow train, let's go. Okay guys, I want to do a little bit of this map because this map's such a good map, but I'm not gonna finish it, of course. Damn, I did not plan for a server shutdown. I mean, obviously we can just like edit it and whatnot. Well, come on, man! I want it to be one continuous feature. I know. Hey, stupid. Do it! That's what it's telling me right now. No, it's 25 minutes remaining. Cow Queen's a pretty easy boss too, but yeah. Nice map. Yeah, as you can see, just lightning is not very good, but it's strong against dangerous bosses from afar. That's kind of the only situation I use lightning. When there's like one enemy, and I don't want to jump on top of it with charged bolt. Overall, very good stuff though. Chain Lightning is good at mapping once you get those facets. Everything else. Now, this is a little dangerous though in hardcore. Oh, Lem, nice. Be careful, guys. Wars on cows are no joke. Those cows hit like a truck. And they got some aura power. Oh wow, I cannot break his lightning immunity even with static field. That's crazy. Yeah, they get pretty strong with certain modifiers like the lightning enchant plus spectral hit. I still can't break it because they have such high lightning res. So that can be very dangerous. Mini Pog, yeah, Mini Pog. Make sure to watch those auras on cows for sure. I have energy shield though, and I have max block. And I have 10,000 defense, but all it takes is a couple of really gnarly hits and rip. Also, if you jump into the cows, bad idea.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken cave.
Okay, nice. I think we just disabled the aura. Yeah, if you can find the cow that has the might aura or the fanaticism aura, that's always really good. Good stuff, good stuff. Alright, as you can see, lightning Sorc is good. Oh, I can't break that one either. No! Make sure to refresh your energy shield. Energy shield isn't as big of a deal in softcore, or if you're not going to 99, but make sure energy shield's your best friend when it comes to survivability. Especially when you get so many free points from all those lightning skillers on a lightning Sorc. Hey man, thank you so much for the follow. Let's go. Follow train is real. I think that's about as much as we can do for this demo, because I have a lot of other things that I want to go over before we finish this guide here. But ultimately, you know, you can see the idea. This area is pretty much the same thing every time anyway, so... Very nice build for killing it though, for sure. Vietnam flashbacks? Oh wow. Chain Lightning is really good for keeping them in hit recovery as well. We're getting so close to 91. Oh, baby. Hey, thank you, man. Oh, you know about that, huh? Sweet! Cool. Hockey King knows everything currently. Oh, man. That's some nasty auras, but that's okay. Nice. Nice, level 91 GC. Sweet. Alright, well, yeah, I mean, I really would love to finish that map, but that's okay. No time, no time. We got more maps anyway, it's okay. We got plenty more Blood Moon maps where that came from, so. Not the end of the world. Alright, so let's go over the tier 3 that I would say she's best at. Those are her really strong tier 2s. She has a number of other strong tier 2s and tier 3s as well. Of course, I'll make sure in the video description and in the pinned comment, make sure to put her overall map rankings overall so you can see other areas that might be worthwhile doing on her. For now, though, I'm going to go over her best tier 3, which is Ancestral Trial. Ancestral Trial is really nice for a few reasons. I'd say River of Blood is also up there for sure, because you can break the only lightning immune in there. But there's not really lightning immunes in Ancestral Trial. There might be some lightning resistance in general, but it's very nice in general. You don't have to worry about using static field all that often. "19 minutes, okay. But yeah, as you can see, those monsters have really high lightning res typically, the Pit Lords. Doesn't matter. You just get shredded anyway. Infinity, those lightning facets, very Gucci. Once again, no lightning immunes. Good area. There's a lot of poison immunes, physical immunes, fire immunes. It also doesn't really have cold immunes either, so cold characters also tend to find this area pretty nice to go up against. Also, it's nice and kind of focused, yet wide open, which is kind of nice for chain lightning in general. Remember though, it is a tier 3, so make sure you definitely have a decent survivability in hardcore before doing too many of these. We're really just doing one. One thing I'll mention though is that this boss is simply too dangerous to get close to on a character, on a sorceress at max block. I tested it, and it looks like he could two-shot me under some circumstances. This boss is insanely nasty. So that is one weakness, even though this is an insanely good map for her to do. One weakness is that killing the boss on hardcore might simply be too dangerous in most circumstances when you're building the character for killing everything else. If you're not max block, you could probably do it pretty easily, but it's really dangerous. Like, it's a really dangerous fight. Well, I mean, I don't know. Whereas a lot of the other tier 3 boss fights are not really that dangerous, even with his health and whatnot. This one's pretty bad. I would also say River of Blood boss fight is also decently dangerous as well, unless you have like FCR or Ravenfrost or something. Same thing with this boss. I'm not going to demo it. 1, because I don't have an FCR or Ravenfrost, and 2, I could still die, and 3, you don't have time, but it's okay. Yeah, pocket. Pretty sick, right? So yeah, as you can see here, Stormcasters are nice too. They're just like normal ghosts. They also don't drop equipment. They also drop runes pretty well. I tend to find a lot of high runes in here. Wow, lost my energy shield, didn't see it. As you can see there, I just popped a static field on him because he had lightning enchanted. So he's heavily lightning resistant, and boom. Got him. Got him, got him, got him. Ah! Halberd's Rain? What? Yeah, careful for the auras, especially in tier 3 maps. Wow. What? Wow, what a screen! These are both treasure class 84 uniques. What a screen right there. Oh god. Well, double auras. Monk S too. I also don't have any healing pots, so I might not have been picking them up. No, I don't think I've been picking them up. We're pushing a bit too hard here. Damn. As you can see, this area is pretty nice for her overall. Okay. Look at all those auras, man. Rip. 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 Wow, this is nice density, like really nice. Look at that mercenary go, what a beast. Clap is for the mercenary in the chat, let's go. That's why it's important to build a beastly mercenary. Alright, well as you can see, you know, strong build, right? Dangerous area, she still tears it up. Oh wow, Oculus. Woo! Ah! Okay. Okay, anyway. GG. Alright, well, that's it for the map demo. I cut it a little short, but you kind of got a pretty good gist of what this character is capable of with really good gear. She's strong. It's definitely an A-class clear speed in all of these maps for sure. But once you get gear, that's something I need to emphasize here. Also, not a bad crown there. We have non-Eth and we have Eth Steel Carapace. Wow. What are the odds that we find both of those in a demo? Alright, really quickly, we're going to go over stats and skills and gear and whatnot now. So you guys can know how to build the character. Let's go! Okay. Damn. Alright, guys.
At your service.
Let's do this. Slam it, do it live. On video. Slam it. Yeah, right, and this is a solid build. Nice wizard spike, sweet. Easy. Alright, well anyway guys. I'm gonna use telekinesis to pick up things, pick up the work. Sorceresses are awesome, but anyway. Alright guys. Good stuff. We have now our stats. Let's go over how I built this character here so you know how to build this character. It is an awesome character. I like Lightning Sorc a lot from LOD, but I'm really glad to see that with a really good gear, Chain Lightning Sorceress doesn't disappoint in maps or any point in the game. So let's go over kind of her stats. She's hitting 14,000 chain lightning damage, 20,000 lightning damage. As you can see, the lightning damage really is only slightly better for the single targets from afar when you're scared to getting too close to them. such as bosses when you don't have a lot of health because you dumped a lot of points into dex and strength because you're going max block with a storm shield or some kind of similar shield. That's why I like Gurks. Like, Gurks is 133 strength, so it's not too much different. Chance to block here is 75%. That's what you want. Hardcore, just block is so amazing, especially when you don't have like scaling max life CTA. That's good stuff in general. And then I just dumped the rest of the points into Vitality. You can dump some extra points into Energy if you want to balance out your energy shield a bit. It can be a bit risky though, because with Mana Burn, that means you have less survivability against any monster that has auras and Mana Burn and extra strong and whatnot. Can be dangerous. I recommend maybe putting your full points into Vitality, but it depends. You can have more mana depending on the gear you put on. That's your res 76 all and whatnot. For Chain Lightning, you definitely want the 117 breakpoint because both Teleport and Chain Lightning both use the 117 breakpoint. It uses the Lightning FCR, not the normal FCR in PD2. Teleport uses that, but in Vanilla, Lightning... Chain Lightning works the same way as it does in PD2. It requires that Lightning FCR breakpoint. So it's the 117 one there. I'd recommend getting at least 117 on this character. On softcore, it could be possible to get 194, but it's really hard with items like Storm Shield and Gurks, where you need that survivability for hardcore, so I wouldn't recommend it. My cast rate's 123, as you can see there. I don't have much hit recovery. Once again, hit recovery, not a very important stat when you have block and energy shield, especially because I don't take more than 1/12 of my health and damage very often at all. When I do, though, at least I have some hit recovery. It's not bad. I do have some DR. I have 31% DR, so when the damage does go to my health and not my energy shield, I am reducing a lot of it. And I also have pretty heavily stacked res in most of my res for negative res stats and whatnot. And Conviction Aura. And I also have a really solid amount of Magic Find. Once again, no amount of Magic Find is required, but with maps hitting 300 means I have almost like 450 in a lot of maps, which means that we're really hitting like even over the diminishing returns in general. Like we're overcapped on MF in a lot of ways. We're hitting really solid numbers on MF. So that's really good stuff. I think that's pretty much all I should probably go over in stats in general until we get to the gear. Skills. So, 1 point Shiver Armor. Just having 1 point of Shiver Armor really boosts your defense a lot when you have Defiance Mercenary and Shiver Armor, and you have high defense items like Tal's Plate or Chains of Honor or Storm Shield and things like that. Even Griffin's is pretty high defense, so making sure you get 1 point Shiver Armor with Defiance gets you like 10,000 defense for free, so it means the monsters won't hit you as often. Very good stuff. Warmth, 1 point of Warmth. Mana regeneration, it's pretty huge just to put 1 point into here. Almost no excuse on any Sorceress build, just like with Shiver Armor. Shiver Armor is the good one, by the way, because it defends you against physical attacks, ranged attacks. Chilling Armor only defends you against ranged attacks, so it's not as effective. Lightning skills. I recommend putting 1 point into Static Field in most of these cases here, but Static Field is really solid. Like you saw with Conviction plus Static Field, or even without Conviction, it can break a lot of lightning immunes. But it can break insane lightning immunes with this plus Conviction. Not the most insane ones, but it can break a lot of really insane lightning immunes. We're talking like almost 130 light res monsters can get broken with Static Field plus Infinity. If you put even more points into this, I think you can even exceed. Yeah, you can even exceed 130 actually, I think slightly. I think you get like 131 light res monsters. But I recommend putting 1 point into it on this particular build. Then, of course, if you go Charge Bolt, Lightning, Chain Lightning, and Light Mastery. So, Chain Lightning, the synergies are Charge Bolt and Lightning. So, you're going to want all of these. This you can still use against single targets that are dangerous, and this you can use against single targets that you can just basically telestomp. It's very strong against that. Charge Bolt's amazing. I have hotkeys for all those, as you can see. Got lots of hotkeys here. Good stuff. Lightning Mastery, no brainer. It's just how you boost the power of your lightning attacks. So these all get maxed. I put the rest of my points into telekinesis to mitigate the damage taken to my mana when I use energy shield. If you guys don't know what that bonus is that telekinesis grants to energy shield, it reduces the mana that is lost to it and whatnot. So instead of losing 2 points of mana for every point of health and damage, you lose 0.75 when this is maxed. So it's pretty huge to do that. It also boosts the power of your charge bolt because it's a synergy, and overall it just boosts the power of your energy shield a lot. I don't even have to put more than 1 point into energy shield because energy shield is so effective. Energy shield is so effective here with so many lightning skillers and whatnot. And then, of course, just 1 point to teleport. You can put some more points into here if you want, maybe take some out of telekinesis, but at level 98, I can even max telekinesis and maximize the effectiveness of my energy shield. I wouldn't max this itself even more, because once you're absorbing 50% and you don't have a huge mana pool, it's going to drain too fast.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this.
Because it drains too fast, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. Thank you so much for the follow, man. Let's go over the gear real quick. So, if you really want this build to be late game effective or late game powerful, like A tier, like I was saying, you really want Infinity, for sure. 110% you want Infinity. Attack speed, attack speed, attack speed. I'm hitting I think the 62 frame with a Great Poleaxe. Great Poleaxe has got great minimum and maximum damage. So, attack speed's awesome. Of course, we also have Life Leech, Poison Res. This Fire Res is making up for the fact I don't have a Ral rune in here. It's just a random attack speed jewel. Nosferatu's Coil's got Deadly Strike. You have damage to demons. Great stuff. Fortitude gives them even more damage. All Res. You can use Templars, but Fortitude actually gives your Mercenary more damage. Since you're not a physical character, you don't really need Templars. And then Goblin Toes, some kind of like damage. Deadly Strike boots like Gore's. Goblin Toes tends to work really well here. Oculus. Oculus is really amazing. I would go either Oculus or Shootas on this build, especially in the endgame. Before that, of course, you can use weaker options like Spirit Sword. But Shootas will give you a bit more negative res. This gets you mana per kill. This gives you more MF. And Shootas gives you slightly more damage. One thing I will note, though, is that the Ashuta's percent damage isn't as effective as you might think, though. CTA, no-brainer, Lidless Wall. So the percent damage doesn't actually increase the damage as much as you might think, which is why these facets in this Tal's armor, I prioritize the negative res. Tal's armor is just freaking amazing. Gives you res, gives you MF on hardcore. You can also use Chains of Honor, though, for more damage, or Ormus as well. Of course, Griffins is just crazy. You can also use Shaco for more MF or survivability. Once again, you got a lot of negative res on there. This is just an amulet that helps us hit our breakpoint. Crazy survivability, crazy skills. It's got a crazy corruption on it, too. And the Storm Shield is what makes it come together with that max block and all that res and DR and whatnot for that 31 DR. Crazy stuff. Mage Fists. Stone of Jordan for mana. I definitely recommend having at least one Stone of Jordan or a high FCR or mana ring. FCR MF Nagel. Arachnid's Mesh for skill. FCR mana. Cannot be frozen, has to be somewhere. I got it on my War Traps because I'm a boss. Got an awesome War Traps. And of course, Sorc Torch, Annie, Beads, Lightning Lifers, Life Res, MF Res, FHR Res, Mana. I mean, just get all your damage from here. These are all your plus skills. As you can see, this is a pretty decked out build by this point, which is why she actually is A tier. Like, she doesn't really get A tier before this point, I would say. But obviously you can use like life and mana charms and other things as well. Before you get to this point, you can use more MF, especially against LOD content when you're not focusing on maxing out that damage for maps. Overall, it's just amazing stuff. Make sure to hit that 117 breakpoint though with all this gear, as you can see with the FCR gear. Very important stuff. Cannot be frozen. Mana regeneration. Lightning facets are huge. I cannot stress this enough, but this is one of the reasons that we're able to get most of the monsters down to 0 res or very low, even if they're lightning immune, with static field or even without static field and just infinity. It's because we have Griffins with negative 18, got these -5 life facets. You can have, of course, a 3-socket one. You can have more negative light res elsewhere. You can even put them in your Storm Shield. You can even put them in your Oculus. I like Is in the Oculus, though, because you get 30 MF in the weapon, whereas it only gives you 25 everywhere else. So overall, I kind of tried to balance MF, FCR, survivability, MF, DR, life, everything, basically. And the Infinity plus the negative light res from the facets is just amazing overall.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken camp.
It's a very strong build. I mean, you guys saw how it performed. You definitely need gear for this build, though. I'm not gonna lie to you and say this build performs magnificently. Without gear, you're gonna be able to do things like Pit. You're gonna be able to do things like well, you're going to be able to do a lot of things with her, but you're going to be able to do things like Pit or Arcane and LK, of course, without a lot of gear if you go Lightning, but I never recommend starting Lightning. Go Cold, go Meteor for bosses, but once you get to the end game, this is an awesome build. Awesome build. But yeah, you know, we went over everything, stat skills, we went over her map strengths. In the video description and in the pinned comment, I'm going to rank the maps like normal and put the timestamps for all the things we went over on the build today. Hope you guys enjoyed the guide today for the Chain Lightning Sorceress on Season 2 PD2, specifically for Hardcore. Just remember for Softcore, you know, you can use different options. You can use things like Spirit, you can use Lidless with 3 skills, 2 skills if you get awesome corruptions. You don't necessarily have to have max block. You don't even have to focus as much on Energy Shield necessarily. You can focus more on reducing the teleport penalty by putting more points into teleport. There's a lot of different things you can do, and I kind of went over a lot of those things, but on Hardcore, though, you know, in general, you really want to focus that survivability along with the rest of the damage and everything else. So that's important stuff in general. So, yeah, we went over everything. Awesome stuff. Servers were actually... It's kind of way that's why we didn't, I mean, to be fair, I think that's actually a good thing the servers were shutting down. It caused me to have to focus and maybe not make this video longer than it actually has to be. So you don't have to go through, you don't have to skip like 20 minutes of me doing a map or anything. We did the maps effectively enough to where you could actually see how this character does. There's a lot of other maps she's pretty good at, though, like Area Battlefield, surprisingly. She's actually not too bad at that one. Ruins of Ijun, also pretty decent, and River of Blood, also pretty decent as well. But
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken
Remember, you can catch me usually 7 days a week on www.twitch.tv/DerekHumility. And yeah, check out all of that stuff in the description for those ranked tiers on the maps and the timestamps below. And of course, make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed this guide.
I can already tell that I'll be your best friend in this forsaken
You enjoyed this guide? Yeah, easiest thing to do in the world. And of course, I'll catch you next time on the next guide. I love making guides. I love inspiring people to try out new and awesome things in PD2, things they might have not thought were powerful, maybe some things they did think were powerful, but weren't quite sure what to do with them. And I hope I showed you guys all the most viable strategies for making currency and overall power farming with a powerful Chain Lightning Sorceress. And you're inspired maybe to try that out yourself. Alright guys, thank you. I'll see you guys next time. Dark Humility, over and out. Let's go. Yeah. Alright.